Hello and welcome to Pondering Nigeria, and this is breaking down the news. I wanted to do this video very early, but I think one thing led to another. I couldn't really do it. Please kindly subscribe to Pondering Nigeria, hit the notification bell, hit the like button as we look at the controversy that is out there. Eedris Abdulkareem, Tell Your Papa She song was banned, and it came with a whole lot of reaction in the past 24 hours. Yes, it came with a whole lot of reaction in the past 24 hours. And for me, I will also react to it. But there is a video by Arise News that just look as if you had for or against what really happened against the ban of Eedris Abdulkareem. And three persons were there, one for and the other two against. I would like us to listen to this video and see what we take out from it in terms of our fundamental rights as Nigerians, in terms of which comes first, the Nigerian Constitution or the NBC Code, in terms of what is really going on in the country, in terms of the bitterness all around why government, why Nigerian leaders hate to be criticized. They hate criticism. And it's only when you criticize them and they go and look for one or two ways to see how to pull you down. And we've seen this before. We've seen this in several means and medium in Nigeria. So let's listen to this video. It's a lengthy video, but let's listen to it and see what we take out of it. And I want to tell you people, Nigerians, we all have right to criticize government in every form we want to do it. The only thing we don't really have those rights for is for us not to criticize them in such a way that will affect the insecurity of our loved ones in the country. It would lead to the destruction of property. So these are the only, but we have the right to criticize the Nigerian government. Let's listen to this video and let's see, and let's come back to it. It's very lengthy.
Samson Itodo. Is this ban, in your assessment of Eedris Abdulkareem's song Tell Your Papa, a violation of free speech? I mean, the lyrics urged President Tinubu's son Sheyi to tell his father that people in Nigeria are dying because of economic hardship and insecurity.
Well, thanks, Charles. I think that the ban by the NBC is expected because this is not the first time that the NBC is acting in this manner. Well, one would ask the question about the legal justification for this. And it is very clear that citizens have a right to express their views. And what Eedris Abdulkareem did was to amplify the concerns and the pain that Nigerians are experiencing. There's absolutely nothing he said in that song that it's not a reflection of our present reality. And all he has just done is to use music, because you use music to tell a story. You use music to communicate, your views. And it's a form of expression. And what he did was to use that form of expression, to express the concerns that Nigerians have. I dare say, Charles, I don't ask you, what is it that Eedris said that many people have not said? The fact that he put it in form of music, it's really unwarranted action on the part of the NBC, because first, it doesn't compromise national security in any way. There's no obscenity in any way. There's no hate speech in any way. It's, again, when he released Jaga Jaga under Obasanjo's regime, it was the same response from the state. But I thought that the state would be more concerned with responding with some of the actions it is taking to cushion the effect of some of the economic policies that this administration has introduced, but not to ban the song. Well, thank God for the democratization of information platforms. And you can ban the song, but you can't ban it on the hearts of Nigerians. You can ban the song, but you cannot ban the pain that Nigerians currently face. So I think it's just a reflection of the reality and nothing short of that.
Thank you very much indeed, Samson. Let me come to you, Dr. Taufik Raimi, if Nigeria is a proper democratic country, you are a member of the APC, the ruling party, and of course the government goes out of its way to say that, insist that it is a democracy and that it is keeping to the tenets of a democratic society. If it is, why can't an artist record a song that is critical of the president and which for many people accurately reflects, as Samson was saying there, what is happening in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you, Charles, and good evening to our audience everywhere across the globe. It's quite correct that we all enjoy, or we are guaranteed freedom of expression, freedom of speech within the Constitution of Nigeria as a democratic nation. However, we must also underline the fact that this freedom of speech is not, must be oriented within the context of sanity. The NBC that has slammed a ban on Eedris Abdulkareem song has quoted a violation. I think part of the question we need to ask is, did NBC, I'm not representing NBC here in any way, but as an analyst, my opinion would be that let us dip below the surface to look at the issues that they have raised. They have said that this song has contravened a section of the broadcasting code, and the code they cited is section 3.1.8. Has anybody, including the press like you, Charles, have you tried to look at what does that section provide for?
As a matter of fact, we have.
Good. And the issue is that do we have to now interpret what that section says? Because when we say we have freedom, this freedom must be oriented to bring sanity to this country. Of course, he has complained. He has put it in music, just like he has said. He will not be the first to sing song, but I believe the purpose of that song should be to call the attention of the president to what all of us Nigeria have been complaining. But to begin to mention name, it's like an attack on the personality of even President Tinubu, as I could say. So I want to believe that while the freedom of expression is good, every organization is guided, every practitioner within a given profession is guided by code. Like in the construction industry, you have building code. You won't say because you have freedom of expression, freedom of speech, or freedom to do things, you will not be guided by that. In finance sector, you have code. So NBC has code. So we should ask, are these artists, are they even aware of the code that guide their operations?
Right.
So if they are aware, they should be able to live within that code. I think we should also separate emotion from the criticality of certain things that can bring incitement among the people. While the president will continue to do what he has asked that he will do based on the Renew Hope agenda, we need also to point out objectively areas that need improvement. This music should also be used to even identify areas that has been done well in order for us to have a balance.
Right. Well, I mean, the point really here is the issue of the freedom of expression. We sit in television studios, people come in, they criticize the government. Samson made the point that what is the difference because it was put in music form. I mean, people sit here, the opposition criticizes the government, they talk about the policies that are not working, people complain, people protest, people go out onto the streets. But let me come to you, Abba Kaka. NBC said the song violated section 318 of the Nigerian Broadcasting Code. It said it was inappropriate and fell short of public decency standards. It's not the first time that Mr. Abdulkareem has fallen foul of the government. In 2004, his song Nigeria Jaga Jaga was also banned. I guess the question is whether the Broadcasting Code goes against the Constitution of Nigeria, which guarantees freedom of speech and expression, and whether this is a form of dictatorial censorship which violates the Constitution and which essentially misinterprets and misapplies the law?
Well, thank you, Mr. Charles, for having me again. You see, we are practicing a democratic system of government, and therefore free speech and free expressions are protected by the Constitution. And if anybody offers himself to lead either a state, local government, or the federal government, you know, there are things that come with the territory. And therefore, you know, under the Constitution, you know, citizens are, you know, expected to have free speech, even if the government doesn't want it. This is what democracy entails. And this issue of banning a song, I don't even see what's the really big deal about it, because this is just the same thing Nigerians are talking about every day, but, you know, it came in a, as my friend has said, in a form of a music. And therefore, you know, if you remember, there was a time the president himself said that we should, you know, Nigerians should not pity him. He looked for the job, he applied for the job, and he got the job.
Yeah.
Therefore, you know, criticisms comes with the territory, and that should be expected and respected by NBC and others. Actually, if the president can say that, and overzealous, you know, surrogates of the president will go this far to ban this song. Actually, the song now is trending seriously, and Abdulkareem has become more popular than before, and therefore free speech should be respected at all times.
Okay, thank you for that. And I think you made an important point which I wanted to sort of emphasize and back up, because from what we're hearing, the song is like the one that was banned in 2004. This one is becoming a huge underground hit. And it's getting a sort of perverse promotion because of the ban, which rather defeats the whole point of what the government is trying to do. Let me come to you, Samson Itodo, because you represent a very prominent civil society group, it's well known beyond Nigeria, across Africa, and indeed in many parts of the world. I mean, I wonder what your group would do in these circumstances. Do you expect that either you or some of your colleagues in the civil society space will challenge this in court?
Well, Charles, we have said it uncountable times that what we are experiencing are levels of democratic erosion. And we will continue to advocate that democratic principles need to be respected. You cannot have a constitutional democracy without Democrats. It's really crucial that we ponder deeply on this. And as civil society, we'll continue to speak. This ban, it's an assault on the rights of Eedris Abdulkareem. And I know that there are conversations about strategic litigation to contest this in court, because quite frankly, again, there are conditions where you derogate from certain rights, and you clearly mentioned this previously. Yeah. And I don't think, based on the circumstances and the facts of this particular case, and I don't think that this particular song, you know, defies those principles established by the Constitution. And I think that we need to be careful as a country on how, you know, we claim to be practicing this democracy. If you look at these elements of fragility, they are in different parts of the country. This is fueling discontent, because how do you silence a musician who has done nothing but amplify, you know, the concerns of citizens? And all he has said is the same president's son who said this is the best president in Nigeria's history. He's asked that same son of the president to do what? To convey the message to the president. In case the president is not listening, what I expect the state to do is to say, acknowledge the fact that the contents of this particular song are a reflection, it's a feedback that citizens are providing. All Eedris have done is just amplify that cause. Again, let me make the point, you can ban the song for as much as you want, but you cannot ban the experiences that Nigerians are going through.
But let me ask you this, Samson, because, and I want to stay with you for a minute, because, I mean, we know that you are in very much in the public space, and the people see you as a sort of representative, and unacknowledged, if you like, representative of the people. I think the point that Dr. Raimi was raising was this issue of the fundamental principle of freedom of speech and the right of people in a democratic society to express themselves freely without government restriction, but matched against the fact that freedom of speech isn't absolute and there are restrictions against, I think you pointed that out earlier, hate speech, defamation, national security, etc. And there is the broadcasting code. And there are grey areas. And so the question is, how knotty a problem is that in terms of the way that people like the NBC interpret it?
I think it needs to be clear. See, there's a reason why you have said there are three rights, fundamental rights that are critical and central to a democracy. First is the freedom of speech, the freedom of expression, and the freedom of association. If you attack these three rights, or even one of them, what you get is a shrinking civic space. And that's the point that we have made consistently, that the civic space is shrinking. The Constitution is clear that yes, you exist within a community, and that community is bound by laws, that these rights are not absolute. The state can derogate those rights based on three conditions. If it contravenes or undermines national security, if it's hate speech, and then the third condition, that if it's defamation.
Yeah, obscenity as well.
None of this, based on my examination, and perhaps also for many people, that none of the content of this, meets this criteria or calls for derogation. That's my interpretation, and we can contest this in court, because there is nothing he has said that is not true. Are you talking about impunity? There is impunity. In fact, I would say the contents of this song are really moderate, because we have seen worse situation within the Nigerian context.
Absolutely.
He's talked about corruption. Can we say there is no corruption in the country? He's mentioned weak institutions. He may not have used polished language like some of us will do, but what he has done is to use the language that the average man on the street understands. And so I don't think that, the decision taken by the NBC, it's in line and in tandem with the Constitution. And this is something that we can contest, because the NBC code is subservient to the Constitution.
Indeed.
Once the Constitution has guaranteed a right, any other law that runs contrary to the provisions of the Constitution, to the extent of its existence, is null and void. And that's why the supremacy of the Constitution is guaranteed under Section 1, Sub 3, of the Constitution. And so these are the issues, and we just need to acknowledge the fact that in this instant case, this is a clear violation of Idris's right of speech.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a clear violation of Idris's right and freedom of speech as well. And let me know what you think about this video as I continue to talk about what our rights are all about. Because we have rights for freedom of speech, right for freedom of association, right? I think there are about three of them. And let me say this, a lot of things is happening in Nigeria that most of us are aware of, is hitting us badly every day, every time. So if I come out and talk about the things that are happening to me, especially when you look at what the youth copper girl said the last time when she was almost chopped off by the government. If I come out and talk about what is really happening to me, I think I own that right. I don't have food in my house. I barely go to work because of lack of transport. If I mention all those things, I think I own the right. What Eedris Abdulkareem is trying to do, according to Samson, to do is to amplify, to make that voice to be much more, to be heard enough. Remember the Jaka Jaka song? At that time, things were so bad in Nigeria during Obasanjo's time. That was about 21 years ago in 2004. The Obasanjo government did ban that song, but the song also became a hit. The same thing as this Tinubu government is doing, trying to ban the song, because his son's name was mentioned. Then I just think that it's really going to amplify the song, amplify what is really going on in Nigeria. People are dying. People are hungry. People can't even eat 1 square meal in a day in a country. People can't even make phone calls. People can't even make buy data. So things are so bad in Nigeria, and Idris and others have to call it out. Take for instance, a public communicator goes to the studio and make comments like this. He will not be held culpable. Nobody is going to. It's the same thing. So we should stand on our feet. Stand on our feet and hold our government accountable, because it is right now. You might think it is not going to affect me. You might think it's not going to come to my doorstep. Remember, in those days, people were saying, Boko Haram will not come to Abuja. Before you knew it, they strike in Abuja. Before you knew it, they expanded their tentacles to the southwest, to the southeast, to the south. And this is what is really going on in the country. We just have this laissez-faire attitude. Nigeria, we need to stand up. We need to stand up and own this problem and try to solve it by calling out our government, holding them accountable at all costs, either through the ballot or through protest. And that is just it. Protest, when I mean protest, it might not be what Eedris Abdulkareem is doing is protest through music. It might not necessarily be coming together and shutting down the street, but there are different ways of protest. And for me, I just think that it's high time for us to wake up and see what is it. And for Abakaka, I think Abakaka really nailed it on the head. Abakaka and Itodo, they nailed this whole issue on the head. And for Mr. Taufik, I know he's an APC man. He has to speak for his party. He doesn't need to deviate from what his party is all about. But the fact is that he didn't try it. He didn't try it because your right of freedom of speech comes first, which is enshrined in the Constitution above the NBC code. And mentioning Sheyi Tinubu's name in the video. And let me say this: remember the video when Sheyi Tinubu? I don't have it here, but when Sheyi Tinubu came out and mentioned and said, "Oh, my father is the best president ever." If his father is the best president ever, then he should speak to his father about what is really going on with the Nigerian people. Thank you very much for watching our video. We'll come up with an exciting video next time to break down the news and to break down all that is happening.